Wildlife rescue workers open up.
Hey guys, how are you today? All right, so I was really busy this morning and most of this afternoon cleaning and purging here in the art room, and also I'm taking my car back to be fixed again because, you know, they broke the side view mirror when they had it the first time. So they fixed it for free. Yay. I thought we would come on, since I have some time this afternoon, and finish our little dolls that we were making, sort of a takeoff on a Dodie doll or a spirit doll, if you will. You could very easily make them into some sort of Christmas ornament or hanging by putting a ribbon in the top. I'm not going to do that, but you definitely could do that. When we painted these on Monday with DecoArt, I showed some felt dolls that were hand sewn, and they're much smaller than these, but that's the same idea. So you just, as you're sewing it, you would just put a ribbon loop in the top, and if you wanted, you could put another ribbon at the bottom and dangle charms or beads or something from that. So we're going to finish these today. I ended up creating 4 of them. I think I did these 2 on camera, and I did these 2 off camera. And then I did also find my patterns, and I did scan them for you all, and there's a copy of the patterns for my original version of Dodie dolls and these in my Facebook group under files. So if you're not a member of the Facebook group, go into the description of the video here and find the link and join it, and it's a free download. And this is one of the wing patterns that I used to use a lot, and I created a pair of wings out of some of the same fabric I made the doll out of. I made a couple pairs of wings. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take some more fabric. Now I happen to have this piece of leftover canvas that I just kind of was wiping paint on as we were done, and I had paint on my hands. You can see kind of my fingerprints. So we're going to take, and I think I want to use it for these. And I think I want to try to squeeze as much as I can out of this fabric. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to move the sewing machine back a little bit so I have some room here to maneuver. I spent the weekend and this morning purging and rearranging my studio just a little bit, and getting some new organizational things. You can see the cabinets here in the background. They're from Michael's. I ended up with more table space. I have more things on the table, but more workspace. I'm not sure how come it worked out that way. It was a happy accident. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. So I'm going to take my piece of fabric face down, and I'm going to lay my doll face on top of here, and I'm going to just trace around it with a pencil. Maybe I need a different pencil. Let's try this one. That one, I think the lead is too hard. Yeah, this is a softer lead pencil. It's a 2B, so you want a just regular pencil. That one was, I think, an HB. Let's see. Oh, H6. 9H, no, 9H, sorry. I was looking at it upside down. 9H, 9 hard. So yeah, that one wasn't going to write on the fabric. So we're going to have that. So now we're going to cut this out. Now you can use your standard DecoArt paints on this. You don't have to, as I said in the previous video, use fabric paints. I don't ever intend on this being washed, so I wasn't concerned about it. If you do think it might be washed, then you want to use fabric paint or get the DecoArt textile medium and add it to your regular paints. Okay, so then we're going to sandwich these together right sides out, and we're going to start down here and work our way around with the sewing machine to about here. We're going to leave about an inch, inch and a half open at the bottom, and we're going to sew kind of close to the edge. And we're going to use a small stitch. I'm only going to be about a 1/16 of an inch away from the edge. I'm putting my stitch length, how long the stitches are, between a 2 and a 3. And the stitch width, which is how far it goes back and forth, is at 0, so I stay in a straight line. You could zigzag around the edge. That's a different look. I don't think that's what I want to do, not for this first one. So I'm going to hold my threads, and I'm going to go forward and backward a couple times. No need to be in a hurry. Now, if you're worried about any of the pencil or anything on your dolls, you know, kind of rubbing off as the doll is handled, then you might want to give the doll a coat of Mod Podge. I'm sorry, DecoPage. Holy cow, Mod Podge, wrong company. DecoPage. DecoArt makes their collage medium in a few different finishes and colors. Including antique, which is one of my favorites. I ran out of thread, so let's try that again. Ran out of bobbin thread. Bobbin must be empty. Yes, it is. Hey, Amy. I got very caught up in chores and stuff this morning, so I didn't get on here to do any kind of broadcast this morning, so I thought we would finish our Monday with DecoArt dolls this afternoon. Of course, maybe that wasn't a good idea because now I'm having an issue. I don't know. Yay. If I have one of those days where you just seem like off, that's me right now. Okay, our bobbin is not wanting to stay down, but we're going to see if we can make it work anyway. Bobbin winding is really not as hard. It's just me being kind of off today. Okay. Let's try that again. Oh, 6 flags. That sounds nice. I know why I feel off. I had to take some of my allergy medicine this morning because I didn't feel good. That would be why I feel off. Because it has a tendency to make me feel like I'm in a fog. All right, let's try that again. All right, we are going to rethread our machine now that we've got our bobbin wound. Pull that thread up from the bottom. There we go, 2 threads at the top. Yay! So it depends on how bad it is. I took an Allegra, but I have lots of medication depending on how bad it is, and I have a rescue inhaler, so let's hope it doesn't get that bad. So I'm going to leave an opening down here towards the bottom of the doll. I have nasal spray. I've got a couple. I've got a rescue inhaler. I actually have Advair, which I don't take anymore because I don't like the way it makes me feel. All right, so now we've got our doll, and she's got an opening down here, so we can stick some stuffing in there. Got this little bag of stuffing. And I have some surprises to stick in there. All right. So there's this place on Amazon called Blue Water Crystals, and they sell different kind of crystals and stones, and they sell these like bags of small stone, really small stones. And I ordered a couple of different mixes from them. Oh, see, maybe I should switch to Zyrtec. I feel like the Allegra, I just feel kind of foggy. So anyway, I ordered a couple different mixes from them. I ordered a mix of stones to aid in protection and another one to aid in creativity. And they are a big bag of stones, and I spent some time this afternoon sorting the stones into different groups. So because I wanted to have different little packets of stones. So anyway, so we're going to take a little bit of stuffing and we're going to put it inside the doll. And I like to use a knitting needle. I don't really knit anymore. Oh, hey, Roz. I don't really knit anymore, but I use my old knitting needles to push stuffing into things. So, and I'm using the flat end of the metal knitting needle. So then I put a little bit of stuffing in. I'm going to dump in my protection stones that I have here, the one little bag of stones. I have a whole bunch of these, so if any of you are interested in getting some stones, I'm thinking about listing them in my Etsy store. And then this is the creativity. Oops. I'm going to make sure all the stones actually get inside the doll. There we go. And some more stuffing. You don't have to do this part. You could put a note in there if you're making these for like a friend, maybe. Put a little note in there that, you know, maybe they don't even ever know it's in there, but you could put it in there and you know it's in there. You could write interesting words of, or, you know, nice words of inspiration, or I love you, or something like that on the front of the doll. So you aren't going to be able to get too much stuffing in these because they're painted. The fabric's not going to want to stretch. Oops, hold on. There we go. I do feel foggy, maybe, and I'm pretty sure, I bet you it's the Allegra. I didn't use the inhaler today. I took the Allegra instead. Okay, so that's pretty good. It's nice and stuffed, but it's not too stuffed where you can't tell what it is, and it's not too misshapen. So now I'm going to hold the opening together And I'm going to stick it underneath the presser foot. You could, do machine embroidery to these before you sew them together. You could glue or sew buttons or fabric flowers or something like that after you sew them together. But there's one little doll. I'm so glad at least you and Amy are here, Roz. I wasn't sure it's so late in the day. So here's one little doll. She's all done. I dropped my knitting needle. Okay, let's do another one. Ugh. I don't have too much stuffing, so I'm going to just have to make it work. Let's do one of these like peanut-shaped ones. That's what this reminds me of, a peanut. Maybe I just love peanuts. Well, I do love peanuts. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trace her body on this fabric. And you could use plain fabric on the back. You could use some more of the painted fabric on the back. Whatever you want. I'm going to use this fabric that's painted, but it's got the same colors. Thanks, Beth. It's a little 10 by 10 room. I got to tell you, this room is not that big. It's probably the #1 comment I get is about my room. And I don't mind sharing my space with you guys. I think that's fabulous, but it's really not that big. I think it looks bigger on camera, but that's why up until now, I think I'm good with it now, but I've been on a like reorganizing kind of craziness since I moved in here from the garage. I had a 2-car garage to myself. It's not that big. Hey, Heidi. Okay, so we're going to do the peanut shaped one. And on her, I want to put wings on the back. Now, I could put the wings this way, but I only painted the one side of the wings. And I really think I want this part. I want them to be like this. Oh, yeah, those are, there's a few Copics in here, but these are mostly Spectrum Noir, Spectrum Aqua, and Pitt Big Brush pens. I really wanted them out. That was one of the main reasons for doing the reorganization, is so that I could have those out. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just look at this and say, okay, where do I want this? I think I want it right about there. So then I'm going to take this away. And we're going to just do a line of stitching down here, down the center of the wings. But I have a lot of markers, Heidi. That's not all of them. I just wanted to have these out. Okay, so now we've got our back with the wings on it. We need to sew it to our front. It will grow, Heidi. I've been collecting for a long time, and it's going to grow a lot. You're just at the beginning of your journey. All right. So how we got to do this is carefully. We're going to, again, start at the bottom down here. I'm going to fold the wing this way. Start over here. Hold my threads. Back and forth. Line all the edges up. Again, I'm sewing about an 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric. Pretty close. You could zigzag. You come around the top of the head. And as we come around, I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to push my wings over to the other side. Okay, back and forth again. When I get to the end, I'm going to, again, leave about a 1.5 inches. opening at the bottom. So now we have our doll sewn, and she's got her wings. All right, so we're going to get some more stones. These ones here are to promote creativity, these more colorful ones. And these ones are for protection. So we're going to have those handy. Stuff some stuffing in her head. I have a cough drop in, besides taking the medicine. One of the Copics I have is the Copic Wide in Black. I love that marker. You could satin stitch it. You could do any, if you have a machine that has decorative stitches on it, you could use a decorative stitch around the edge. Just use a small, tight stitch length. Okay, I'm going to stuff her head pretty good. Then I'm going to put the stones in. Thank you. A magical touch artist, Carol. And I can't read what the rest of it says, but hello. Hey, hi, Hina. Those are Spectrum Noir, Spectrum Aqua, and Pitt Big Brush pens. There's a couple of Copics hiding in there somewhere, and I think there's one Prismacolor blender pen. Aren't those racks fabulous? The racks are from Michaels. And of course, I have enough markers to probably fill up a dozen of these. Oh, good for you. So once we get our stones in and our head stuffed, we're going to fill up the rest of her by just putting some more stuffing in. Again, I'm using a knitting needle. Don't you just love the colors like that? I love the way my new room works. Now I'm very happy with it, and I have more stuff on the table, as I was saying, but somehow I ended up with more workspace. I don't know how that happened, except that I must be making more efficient use out of the space. And I moved the lights around, and by accident I ended up with better lighting. That's what the idea is. And you know, whether even my Catholic grandmother believed in the powers of crystals and rocks, she had her own collection of things that we found after she passed away. And I ended up with a great deal of them. So whether you believe in that kind of thing or not, you don't have to. Of course, you could make one. If you don't believe in the power of crystals and that sort of thing, you could, of course, put a special wish for a friend or the person you're going to gift it to on a piece of paper, and you could stuff that inside the doll, or a prayer. You know, maybe you love the Lord's Prayer. You could write or print that out, and you could stuff the Lord's Prayer inside of it. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Especially if you have a friend who's going maybe through a hard time right now. Oh, thanks. I probably will at some point. There's a lot going on right now, and I have a photo shoot for a project coming up that I need to make sure that's still happening tomorrow, which is another reason why I had to clean the room. Once all that is done, I will probably do a proper tour where I open every drawer, all of that stuff. So anyway, so now we've done this one and this one. Aren't they cute? And again, there's patterns for these, for the basic shapes and the face and the wings on in a file in the Facebook group. So if you aren't a member of the group, join, and you can download the pattern to make some for yourself. I am probably going to put these in my Etsy shop for sale. At least I'll probably keep one because I have a habit of doing that, and I'll probably gift one, and I'll probably sell the rest. You kind of never know with me, though. You have to just keep an eye on the Etsy shop. And I will, though. I have lots of the extra stones because I wanted small stones, and it was just cheaper to buy a big bag of them. So I have lots of the protection stones and creativity stones. They're separated in their own little bags. So if you guys are interested in buying some stones to put in dolls or something else, let me know. They're just stones without a hole in them, and they're not really big enough to make into a bead. The little angel. I'm going to make another one. We're going to do another one right now. The little angels always were the favorite even when I did them out of felt. At Christmas time, I sold a lot of angels. And this is fabric. It's painted fabric that we painted on the last Monday with DecoArt. We did a mixed media on this canvas, and we painted it. Do I have an extra piece of the fabric? Not handy. I put it away, see, because I was cleaning. But it's mixed media. It's collaged and painted. We did the face. We used DecoArt craft paints, Americana craft paints, and DecoArt collage paper, DecoPage collage papers, and they're DecoPage in matte, and they turned out cute. And then a Stabilo, Stabilo all pencil. So let's do another one. So we'll go back to our kind of, she reminds me of a pill, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but she's kind of pill shaped. That wasn't intentional. Thank you, Roz. Yeah, I will probably do one eventually. I just have a lot going on right now, so I have to, it's going to take me a little bit to get it filmed. Okay, so we're gonna trace her on the fabric, and we're gonna have to, the last one's gonna have to have a blank backside because now I have no more painted fabric that's out and handy. These are my fabric scissors. Don't try to cut this kind of fabric out with your regular scissors that you've used on paper. You're gonna have a really hard time. Especially this thick canvas by itself, much less after it's had paint and stuff on it. Hey, Lisa. All right. So again, same way. Let's do a little bit of a zigzag around the edge on her. So I'm going to change my stitch width from 0 to 2. And I'm going to shorten the length of the stitches so we'll have a little bit of a zigzag that's close together, hopefully. Hopefully. Let's try it. Need to have it closer together. So to have it closer together, shorten your stitch length. Right? That was an accident, Lisa. I was just trying to improve the layout of my room and make the markers and things more accessible and make the way things were stored make more sense. And all I did was change one light. And oh my God, the lighting is so much better. I mean, you know, you're seeing the angle the camera is at right now, you're seeing all my chins and, you know, my hair's up in a bun. It's hot as hell here. But the lighting on the machine looks fabulous. Just ignore the chins. Heidi, so I am using an HD webcam. It's a Logitech HD. I think it's a 920C. Oh, no problem, Roz. It'll be up in a little while. Okay, so now again, we're going to stuff her head. I have lots of camera options, but this is a HD webcam. It's the easiest to broadcast live streams. Is to just use your webcam. And I have it on a long cable, USB extension cable. which you're not supposed to be able to do, but works fine for me. They've got some more protection stones and some more creativity stones. Oh, Heidi, there's a bunch of us, not only here right now, but in the Facebook group that do YouTube. So we would be glad to help you out. Not a problem. Go back and look at some of my first videos. I did not know what I was doing. Just FYI, I had no idea. They weren't too bad, but I had no idea. I just kind of turned the camera on while I was crafting. I still do that. They do look a lot like Russian nesting dolls. There is a type of a doll called a spirit doll that these have a sort of a resemblance to that. When I started making them, that wasn't my intention, but the thought process is the same, though. I want it to be something that's a protection and, you know, good thoughts and well wishes, something that the receiver, you know, cherishes and holds, maybe has on their desk. Maybe, you know, if they're sick, they take it with them. Sure. You if we're not, look and see if we're Facebook friends, Heidi, and if we're not, just friend me and I will approve you. And I'll be glad to help you out if I can. Pay it forward, so to speak. I got lots of help when I first started on YouTube. I still get lots of help because I don't really know what I'm doing. Which is the truth. That might surprise some of you. But yeah, it's the truth. Thanks. They're so cute, and they're very rustic and kind of folk arty in a way. And I like the idea of putting stones in there or a prayer or something like that inside the doll as you're making it. And aren't they cute? So we have one more, and I think we have just enough stuffing to do the one more doll. And then I am out of stuffing. I'm going to have to add that to my shopping list. All right. So we're going to have to do her with a blank back. But this is our other kind of peanut shaped. I really like this shape of doll. There is one pattern in the pattern file that has the same basic shape, but on the bottom it kind of flares out like a skirt. That's a cute shape too. I'm just grabbing a piece of fabric. I'm going to whack off a hunk. All right, so this is just plain. You can use canvas, denim, duck cloth. This is the same kind of fabric we use to make the dolls. I gravitate towards this natural color in one of those kind of fabrics because it's nice and thick and it can really hold up to lots of things. And then once you get it painted and decorated, you can make it into dolls, of course. Handbags, tote bags, pencil bags. There's all kinds of stuff you could do with this fabric. So I love that kind of fabric. You, of course, could pick a different color, or you could pick white. Okay, let's trace around her. And cut it out. Okay. So now the first thing again, I think I want the wings, the colored part to face front so that when you look at the doll from the front side, you see the colored part of her wings. And when you look at her from the back, she's going to be like that. I think that's how I want it to be. I don't know now. That's kind of cute. Oh, I think I might have to do her backwards of the other one. Because from the back, that's really cute. And from the front, that's really cute. You know, that's always been something that is a struggle for me. Generally speaking, I do it like any other merchandise. I don't usually charge enough or anything for my time, and I figure out how much it costs me to make the item, and then I times it by 3 minimum. That's really not the right way to do things, and it's not a good business practice, just FYI. So again, we're going to do a zigzag stitch. Oh crap, I forgot to put the wings on. Dang it. See, because I'm looking at the comments while I'm doing this. Well, we're going to have to just make that work. See, I'm not perfect. Far from it. All right, I'm going to position them, and then I didn't get her sewn all the way, so I'm going to open it up, hold it together. Good thing I caught it before I got it all sewn together. You could, if you do that, you could glue it on. Yeah, when I was doing lots of arts and crafts shows, then I didn't really sell any paintings or anything. I did things like these dolls, and I just times them at least by 3. Now the smaller felt versions of these dolls, they sold for $9.95, and I sold hundreds of them. Hundreds. I took how much it cost me to make them, and I times it by 3. Now I need to make sure I push her wing over. When you're selling paintings, you should really price them by the inch, and you should develop prices for, you know, then you develop prices for different sizes. So if you have a 16 by 20 painting, anytime you do one that size, it's the same price. Melinda Kutsona wrote a really great book about pricing your artwork. You might be able to get it on Amazon or check it out from the library. But generally, I do 3 times the cost. Paintings, I have a hard time pricing paintings. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to stuff her head. Where's my knitting needle? The best use for a knitting needle. Doll stuffing. Hope none of you are knitters out there. I like knitting, don't get me wrong. It's just not my favorite thing. Okay, I'm going to stuff her head. There we go. And we're going to put our stones in. You're welcome, Hina. Okay. Whoops, dropped one on the floor. Okay. Now we'll put in some more stuffing. I think that's good. All right. I'm going to start where I ended. So around, go back and forth at the beginning and the end. Now, like I said, if you think the dolls are going to be handled a lot, it's not a bad idea to cover the doll with like maybe a clear coat of DecoPage. You could do it before the doll's made or after, but you should probably do that before it's gifted. If you've done what I've done and used Stabilo pencil on there, it just gives it some protection. Now, if you do it afterwards, it's going to keep it from fraying too much, and the paint also helps with that too. So either way, it's probably a good idea. And let's see. That's okay. So it's a couple of collections of stones, and I actually can tell you what the actual stones are. I bought them from a company off of Amazon. let's see. These ones in the in this bag are, these are the protection stones, and there's an amethyst that's a really great protection stone. Solidite, which protects against negative energy, which don't y'all need that. I need to keep that away from myself. Carnelian and black obsidian. And the company is Blue Water Crystals. FYI, plug for the company, Blue Water Crystals. And when you get the bag of stones, I think the bag, here's the bag the stones came in. And this bag was full of these little stones. And here's the stones. And I sat and sorted them out in a tray, so that I had individual bags of stones. And they included a card with the stones and what each stone was and why it was in there. Because you've already, if you guys haven't seen it yet, I have a saying that my memory is like a pasta strainer. I never know what the shit's going to stick in the bowl and what's going to fall through the holes, which is true. So, because I would never remember. So they thankfully did that for me. And then the other bag is, I was only going to get this one. And then they had this blend for creativity. And again, they came in, here's the creativity blend, and aren't those pretty colored stones? And in the creativity set is carnelian to unleash your creative spirit, hematite, sorry. See, I don't have my glasses on. Wait, they're right, they're handy, they're right here. I know, right? My memory is so bad. And the asthma medicine doesn't help. All right. Hematite assists in increasing mental function. I'm surrounded by the things. It hasn't helped me today, but it does help most of the time when you're not in a medical cloud. Including creativity and mental dexterity. Citrine opens the mind to new thoughts and promotes clarity. And asmonite is a calming, soothing stone. So, and those are in the creativity pack, and I just couldn't resist it when I saw it online. And I have extras of these stones. So if you guys want to buy a pack of stones, let me know. Private message me. I'm not sure about the cost. I have an idea in mind, but they wouldn't take much to mail. So you let me know. I can send, one little pack. We'll do one doll. And they're really tiny stones, but if you are going to just start keeping things, like I have a whole table of stuff. It's part of what was on the video of stones behind the camera, but they're big stones. These are little, but these, you could put these in a little dish on your desk. Or you could make yourself a doll and stick them inside the doll and put the doll on your desk, and then nobody knows that you're, like my husband says, are you doing that freaky deaky thing and collecting stones again? Well, yeah. You don't have to deal with it. All right. So now we've got our dolls. So we're going to put them down here. And I do think I'm going to give them a little coat of decoupage. Decoupage. DecoArt's not going to be too happy with me if I keep calling it by the wrong name. All right. So one of the things I had to order more of was the mat, because evidently I really like the mat because it's almost empty. I'm going to get a brush. Oh, Heidi just messaged me. Ugh, holy cow. I guess there's some glue on that. All right. So this is what you would do if you've done like I did and you've already put your doll together and you decided then that you want to seal her. So just put some of this on here. It's going to dry clear. It's going to look white right now, but it's going to dry clear. Be careful that you don't smear the pencil too much if you've used Stabilo pencil like I did. I love this deco page. And it seems to dry like harder. It's not, decoupage dries and kind of stays sticky, and I haven't found that with this. I prefer this one. Okay, Heidi, no problem. Yeah, I am a big believer in that sort of thing. We have them all over the house. We have bags of protection crystals in the four corners of the house. There's a little known fact about me that y'all didn't know. To keep the negative energy out of the house. And when my daughter moved out with her boyfriend, the first thing she asked me to do is, Mom, can you make me some bags of crystals for the four corners of the apartment? So I did. Now, if you are going to seal your little dolls, it's probably a good idea to do them before you sew them together. Not like I did. You also could spray them with a spray sealer if that's what you want to do. But if you don't have any, just use the deco page. There you go, Amy. Listen, they can't hurt. They can't hurt. Now, because I like the look of it, I will probably put some Americana Creme Wax on these after the deco page dries, because I like the way that looks and feels. And it'll dry and leave a nice hard finish, but it'll give it like a satin finish, because the craft paints are pretty matte. Oh, I'm sorry for both of you. That's terrible. I have all my teeth except for one. I do have one crown. I guess I still have that tooth, but you know. So I'm just being kind of gentle around the face, not to smear the pencil too much. You could spray these with a fixative or hairspray before you do this. Okay. We just need to let those dry. My uncle's a dentist, so love him dearly, but visiting him is not always a good thing. Yeah, see, the medication is tough on your teeth. I think it has something to do with the fact that I have a crown now, because I cracked a tooth. All right, so there you have it. Aren't they the cutest thing on the planet? We can prop them up here against the machine. They're going to dry. That coating is going to dry clear, and then when it does, I'll probably give them a little buff of some wax. Does anybody have any questions? And I use the Americana DecoArt. Let's see. They sent me 2 big jars. Look at these. Aren't they fabulous? Americana DecoArt Creme Wax. I love this stuff. It dries hard. It's transparent. And it doesn't reactivate like beeswax will. And it has a very low odor. So unlike other art waxes, it doesn't stink, because I have Dorlands and that stuff smells really bad and usually causes me to have an asthma attack. Okay, well, you have to just let me know, Heidi. She's the littlest one. She's a little bit plumper. But you let me know. And I have the stones too. I don't know if I'm going to put them on Etsy or not, but I must have, I don't know, we can count them. I must have 20 bags of each. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. At least 27 bags of each kind of stone, protection and creativity. So anybody who wants some, let me know. Private message me. We'll work on a price. So the wax, Hina, I like to wax anything I've put the deco page on as for a clear finish. And I do it on canvases too. I like to give it a deco page coat for the clear finish, and I like to use the matte in either the clear or antique. The antique has a little bit of an amber color to it. And then after that dries, I give it a coat of the cream wax. And the cream wax just gives it a really beautiful satiny finish and ensures that the little bit that this may stay sticky or become sticky in the heat, this ensures that it's not going to do that. The cream wax prevents it from, so say one of you buys a doll and I wrap it in regular paper, which I would never do to begin with, but if it's not coated in the cream wax and it's shipped somewhere that's really hot, there's a possibility it could reactivate the glue in this and it could stick to the paper. But if I coat it with the wax, it's not going to do that. Plus, coating it with the wax is going to give it a little bit of a satin finish, and it's going to shine up the matte glue just a little bit. Hey, thanks, Christine. And I just ordered some more of the clear matte because I'm running out. Generally, I use the antique. And keep in mind that this dries clear. So, but you can see that it's a little bit of got a little bit of a tint to it. Now, it won't be as dark or opaque when it's dry, but it does give it a little bit of like an amber glow. And I use it on canvases and little projects like this. Any other questions? Thanks. I think they're cute. They're easy. I really wanted to finish them on camera. We did this Monday with DecoArt of the dolls. So if you haven't seen that yet, after the broadcast is over, I'll try to link that video in the description below. But in the meantime, you can go look if you haven't seen that one yet. And these were really fun. We just used Americana craft paints and DecoPage in the matte clear and Americana Decor cream wax. And then I used some stuffing, my sewing machine, and some stones inside. I do think they're going to go for sale in the Etsy shop, but I'm not sure when they're going to get listed. And at this point, one of them's already spoken for. So if it's anything like things have been going lately over there, you might not want to wait for Etsy. If you want one, you might want to private message me over in Facebook or email me. If you're a member of the Facebook group, you could tag me in a post over there. Because I have this feeling they're not going to last long, but aren't they cute? They make cute Christmas presents. And the piece of fabric, this is about a ½ yard cut that's on my table of canvas. And I know at Joann's, I either buy denim, canvas, or duck cloth. They all feel and look about the same. The only reason I switch back and forth between the two or three is because I buy whichever one's on sale. So it generally doesn't cost too much. And Hobby Lobby has this color, natural colored canvas. I know because I've bought it there before. Oh yeah, go over to Etsy. The link isn't already in the description below, and the link to my Facebook group is also. The pattern for these dolls is in the Facebook group under files. There's a PDF download that you can download and you can make your own dolls. They'd probably be a great craft fair seller, I would think. So I think, you know, those of you who are going to be doing summer craft shows and going into fall, winter, and Christmas shows, these would be cute. And I know when I used to do the felt ones, let me get the angel. These were big craft show sellers. So, and this is the same pattern, it's just sized down smaller. So when you print out the pattern, you can size it up or down depending on what size you want your dolls to be. And this is all sewn, made out of felt with little, just honestly, leftover bits. I would do a sheet of just faces, and then I would cut all the faces out and then put the dolls together. Some of you who got one of the last rounds of mystery boxes got some unfinished dolls in there where I'd already done the face and attached it to the body. And I made sure you had all the body pieces. So yeah, and I think there were a couple pair of wings that ended up in one box. I don't know who got what, but any other questions? See, the stuff dries pretty quick. That's already dry already, or mostly dry. There's a wet spot right there. So on the felt, the face is embroidered. So I would get a square of felt from the craft store that was flesh colored, and I would draw out on the felt the shape of the face, the circle, the outer part, and then I would leave it. I wouldn't cut it apart. I would leave it that way, and then I would go through and I'd embroider all the faces, and then I would cut them out. So I would have I'd end up with a sandwich bag of faces. And then I would sit and I would cut my bodies out and match them up and then embroider everything together. But this is all embroidered and sewn. There's no painting on here. I've done hundreds of these over the years, and these were always big craft show sellers. But you totally could do something like this painted. And Americana paints would be great, and you could paint your faces on the felt and then cut them out and then sew your doll together. That would be a great idea. And if one of you does that, I'd love to see. And all the items for this are from the craft store, so none of them are expensive. Not generally. Mostly because nobody wants to organize swaps and deal with it when you always have that one person who doesn't follow through. So you can do private swaps with people, and you can ask people if they want to participate in a swap. It has to be self-run. And the group owners and admins are not responsible if things don't go right. I know that sounds kind of harsh, and I'm sorry. I've just done a lot of swaps, and they're kind of a big headache. Rosemary does swaps over at her group. Crap, somebody really quick. What's Rosemary's group name? It's the journal page group. The journal. Oh, yeah. She does a journal page swap thing. She's got a group for it, and they do other swaps too. I mean, you can ask for people if they want to swap with you on my group. I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with sharing the swap with the group. I'm just not responsible for how it turns out or organizing it or anything. Deconstructed journal, that's it. She does a lot of really great swaps. Hey, Darlene. She does. Rosemary does a lot of really great swaps in her group. So I would, say look over there. You can solicit people for swaps in my group. That sounds wrong. I don't. But if you organize, if you solicit people for a swap or something in my group and then there's a problem and the problem is your fault, you might get kicked out. So it's a like tough situation. Swaps are tricky. But we do a lot of racks, so random acts of kindness. And maybe you know, make sure that you add your name to the random act of kindness list, which is under the files tab. And I actively send things to that list as often as I can, and I encourage others to do the same. When I and my design team for the Etsy shop do challenges, one of the things I usually try to get all of them to do, if I can, is to make an extra one of something, and then we random act of kindness the extra one. I think it's a fabulous thing to do, and if you want to encourage people to send you things, and maybe you meet up from somebody on the rack list that you want to trade with, I think that's fine. Just be very, very careful about doing it right and having it run correctly. And don't worry, Darlene, it's going to be on the recording will be on YouTube. So the one thing I would probably say is when your dolls start drying, if you have some of these hairy bits that you don't like, just like trim them off. I kind of like the hairy bits, so I'm not going to trim them all off. But then you have this cream wax, which is fabulous stuff. And it looks like this. It's kind of watery, more watery than you're used to for wax. And I need a brush. Sorry, you're going to get a view of my arm. Sorry. And I'm going to brush it on here. Now, you don't have to worry anymore about the Stabilo pencil because now it's underneath the coated deco page, so it's not going anywhere. I didn't get a paper towel. Oops, hold on a second, guys. Okay. So you can buff the wax in, just rub it in. Hold her by the back, there we go. And it also goes on milky and dries clear. And it gives them a really pretty finish. We do prompts over in my group. We do daily thoughts, encouragement for artists and people wanting to live a creative life, YouTubers, that sort of thing. We actively share with other groups that do swaps, that do trades, that do buy and sell, that are other great, you know, educational groups for artists. It's okay to share all of those, and it's okay to share your YouTube channels. Unlike how a lot of other groups started out that, you know, you couldn't really share any of that, we actively encourage you to not only share, but we have lists of files with links in it under the Files tab. They're so cute. And you could do it. There's a million variations of this that you could do. I mean, just think about it. Any shapes. If you want to give them wings, they don't have to be angel wings. They could be butterfly wings. They could be dragonfly wings. Could be anything. Well, glad to have you back in the scene. I think that's fabulous. I was always in the art scene, but I was doing more crafty things, and I wasn't painting, and I hadn't painted really since like junior high school until a few years ago. When I rediscovered my love of painting, I started with watercolor, which I still love. It's still my favorite. Christine, you can be. If you're not already, you might be better than me. And these little dolls are, they're not supposed to be perfect. So if there's a wrinkle in her forehead or the pencil's a little bit smeared, it just adds to their charm, really. So there, now they can just dry and be cool. Hang out, chill and hang out. All right. So there you go. There are our finished little mixed media spirit dolls. There's a lot of more talented people out there than me. That's for sure. All right. Any other questions? So the sewing machine is not just for making clothing. In fact, I rarely use it for that anymore. Yes, I used to be a dressmaker. I used to make wedding dresses. I don't like dressmaking. Big secret. I'd rather do this. This is fun. So I will try to link the video in the description below. As soon as the video is loaded to YouTube, the recording from the live broadcast is loaded to YouTube. So you guys can watch where I painted the face. I think I did this one and this one on camera. And these two I did off camera. Denim. I rarely use anything but a denim needle anymore because I'm usually, Deborah, working on something like this. Every now and then I'm doing a mending project. I will put a different needle in. But definitely if you're working with this kind of canvas, even if it's plain, use a denim needle. But especially if you've put paint on it and collage, gesso, use a denim needle. You're really going to want the sharp, thick denim needle. And also you're going to want to change the denim needle periodically because it'll get dull quickly. Yeah, see, you need to break it out and use it for some fun mixed media stuff. My therapist basically said the same thing. I was already art journaling, so that was no problem. But yeah, it does kind of snowball. So you want to really be careful and not go down the road a lot of us went down, and now I'm kind of backtracking. And this is how the purge boxes and mystery boxes started. When I first started, I felt like I had to have one of everything. So if the teacher said she was using Prismacolor pencils, then I felt like I had to have the entire set of Prismacolor pencils. So don't do that. So I'm distracted by Deborah's comment. So maybe buy some Prismacolors, but buy one or two in your favorite colors to use for that project, and then see if you like them. If you like them, you can buy more of them. Maybe that's not in your budget and you want to just buy one or two of a regular colored pencil. There's nothing wrong with that. My favorite colored pencils are these ones. This is a neon colored pencil, and this is by Crayola. So it's really hard not to do that, I know, but it is the best thing, and you can really learn about what you do and don't like, and you don't end up owning a whole set of something that you then find that you don't care for or you hate and that you haven't used in over a year. And that's kind of the position I've been in, and that's why I've been purging some things that I just don't use anymore. So really keep your budget in mind. Don't put your family in the poorhouse because you're going to buy art supplies. That's why I started doing arts and craft shows, because I had to pay for my hobby somehow. So that's another reason to maybe do a show and sell something like this. But yeah, just buy what you can afford. Try things in small quantities. If you're going to try watercolor, get a small pocket kit. an inexpensive one and try it. If you really love the medium, then go and you know, give yourself an upgrade. Yeah, Heidi, I'm right there with you. No more stamp. It has to be something special. And let's see. Yeah. So yeah, Deborah, denim needle. So I use a denim needle for all my duck cloth, my denim. If I'm hemming denim pants, anything thick material, a denim needle. It's the one I use most of the time. Yep. See, and you know, I think we all get to the point, and you might too. Any of you might too, where you acquire so much arts and craft supplies that you can't think straight, you can't find what you need, and you feel bad about getting rid of things because you spent good money on them. Okay, first of all, yeah, put all that out of your mind, and there's no reason you have to like give it away. So think about selling it. There's a couple of really great groups on Facebook, Art Supply Hoarders and My Arts and Parts. Both are the first two off the top of my head, where you can sell arts and craft supplies that you're no longer using. If you have an Etsy store, you can, you know, I mean, I do the mystery boxes. You can do that. You can give them away and donate them. Here in California, in San Francisco, we have a couple of different stores that do this, but the one I go to is called Scrap. It's in San Francisco. It's called Scroungers Center for Reusable Art Parts, and it's a nonprofit, so I can donate whatever I want, get a receipt back, and they in turn turn around and help teachers and other artists by gifting them, teaching classes, or selling to them at very inexpensive. So it's a really worthwhile charity to give to if you have stuff you're not using anymore. No, you don't, Christine. Okay, so on Facebook, the two groups to sell stuff you're no longer using are Art Supply Hoarders, and the other one is called My Arts and Parts. If you can't find them, private message me on Facebook or email me and I'll send you the links. You don't need any special training or knowledge to use a sewing machine. You only have to, there's only one requirement. Read the owner's manual. There's no shortcut to that. This is one of those things, there's no shortcut. I'm the lazy crafter. Lindsay is the frugal crafter. I'm the lazy crafter, and I love a good shortcut. When learning to sew, there's no shortcut. You have to read the owner's manual. Each machine's a little bit different how it's threaded. That's really important. And how the bobbin is inserted. So those are two things that are super important. Once you get those right, then you're in like Flynn. But you have to make sure you have those two things are the most important thing, that's threaded correctly and the bobbin's in correctly. Then you have to make sure that you play with a scrap of whatever fabric you're sewing and do some test stitches. Let's go back to 0 and a bigger stitch length. And you would probably, I mean, you would, if I was doing a proper demo, I would do contrasting thread, and that's a whole different series that's going to be coming up, and we may do that live. But you want to, after you do a little test swatch, you want to look at the stitches on both sides, make sure they look even, that there's no loops, extra loops of thread or knots of thread, and that it's holding together nice. Then you know your tension is right for this fabric. You want to make sure you have a nice new sharp needle on your machine, right? And you really only need to worry about, for mixed media purposes, a couple of stitches, straight and zigzag. This machine is a fancy, expensive machine. I normally don't do lots of mixed media stuff on it, but I didn't feel like getting the other one out. And it does a lot of stitches. This is a dressmaking machine, but you don't need one. This is really expensive. You can just use one of those little Genomes, and I have those, and we're going to be working with that soon. It's like a $50 sewing machine, and it only does straight and zigzag. It doesn't do anything else. This one does a whole bunch of stuff. You're welcome. Coming up soon on Sewing 101, we are going to be doing a little sample booklet with different kind of stitches and seam names. So, and we're going to be doing little samples of sewing, different kinds of sewing, and making it into a little like a reference book. So that's going to be coming up. I'm not sure if at this moment the sessions are going to be live or taped. I don't know, but I think they're going to be a little bit of both. But I do have the fabric picked out that I'm going to use already. You're going to just need a sewing machine, and you're going to need just some cotton fabric. This is just cotton quilting fabric. And this is just a scrap I had, but any fabric, thin, for this, we're going to use like a thin cotton quilting fabric. You don't have to use the thick duck cloth. I mean, if you have that, you can use it, but this will work fine. These dolls, these are easy. So these are easy project. You just have to be able to, you know, follow it around the corner. And you don't have to be straight. You don't have to hem it. You don't have to turn it inside out. You know, you can do the zigzag, and the benefit of doing the zigzag is if you're a little bit off in the way the two layers are lined up, doing a zigzag kind of ensures that no matter what, you have caught the fabric on the front and the back side. These little dolls are very cute. All right, guys, that's it. We've been on for a little over an hour, and I am going to cut it. I'm going to end, and I'm going to clean up and contact my photographer tomorrow and make sure everything's still a go. And I think that's it right now. If you have any questions, you can always email me. You can always leave a comment on the video, and I will get back to you within a couple of days at the most, usually. You can also join the Facebook group and tag me in a post over there, and I will get back to you probably quicker. Don't forget the most important thing. Y'all know what that is now, right? Do something nice for yourself because you deserve it, all right? And yeah, think about making some of these little spirit dolls. They're really cute. And if you want any stones, I've got a lot of extras. So you just message me and let me know. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of my stuffing I have left and my stones in my doll making drawer, which I have now, a drawer of doll making stuff. All right, that's it. To get not just my painting. Yeah. So the first thing I think you should all do before you watch any more Sewing 101 videos, read your owner's manual, make sure you know how to thread it properly, the top and the bobbin and the bottom, and that you know how to do your basic stitches where your adjustment knobs are. Stitch width, stitch length, tension, yes, and that you know how to adjust them. This is where I hit it for it to go back and forth, so I can do the knotting. So each machine is going to be different, so you want to make sure on your machine that you know how to do all those things. And get out some little samples of fabric, little scraps, and just practice and make sure you know how to do all those things. All right. For the basic stitches class, you just need plain lightweight cotton, and you probably want, like, if your fabric's dark, get a light colored thread. If your fabric's light, get a dark colored thread so that you can see the stitches. Normally that's not what you do, but we want to, these are samples you want to be able to see and refer to, so you want to be able to see the stitches. And we're mixed media artists, so no rules apply. So if you want to edge these dolls in neon colored thread, go for it. I think that would be cool. All right, that's it, guys. I'll talk to you later.